Hi, friend. I'm Ia from the Philippines.
And I'm Zell from Finland. Welcome to Hi Friend Podcast.
We're two friends from two different countries, sharing our own takes and hot opinions on Reddit stories. So grab a coffee, tea, and whatever keeps sane, and let's dive in.
Let's go. Okay, so itong first story natin is from r/ako ba yung gago? So this is one day ago. Title.
Yesterday lang.
Ako ba yung gago kung gusto ko na bumukod pero may iwan mag-isa ang mama ko? Hello, 25 female here, and right now, nag-decide ako to move out of our apartment. Kasama ko ang mother ko sa apartment na yon, and ever since, kaming dalawa lang talaga ang magkasama. Siya ang nagtaguyod sa akin simula pagkabata para makatapos ng college since namatay ng father ko. Sa ngayon, working na ako as a pharmacist. The thing is, super strict niya sa akin. Gets ko naman nung elementary ako until college since worried lang siya for me and gusto niya lang talaga ako makatapos. Bawal talaga ako lumabas ng bahay. Kumbaga, school at bahay lang ako kaya lumaki akong introvert at walang social skills. Bihira ako payagan lumabas kahit mga pasyal with friends or simpleng swimming, bawal din. Kahit magpaalam ako, madalas pinagbabawalan ako. Sabi niya sa akin, kapag nakagraduate na ako at nakapasa ng board exam, ahayaan na niya ako. But lalo lang siya naging strict sa akin. Before sa work, may swimming sana kami ng mga coworkers ko pero binawalan akong sumama. Ngayon naman sa Christmas party na once a year lang mangyari since swimming din, bawal pa din. Sumasama na yung loob ko kasi lagi lang akong nasa bahay after work. Gusto niya din lahat ng gagawin ko, iko-consulta ko muna sa kanya and dapat yung desisyon niya ang masusunod. Kapag taliwas yung gusto kong gawin, sasabihan pa ako matigas ang ulo. Hindi ako nagiinom, party, or drugs, mind you. Wala akong bisyo at all, taong bahay lang talaga. Nagbibigay din ako ng 6K per cut-off sa kanya kahit 23K lang naman ang sweldo ko kasi pampatayo daw ng bahay namin. Gusto niya din kapag mag-aasawa na ako, kasama namin siya sa bahay. May boyfriend ako ngayon, 35 male, and hindi niya rin kami pinapayagan lately lumabas gawa ng di niya daw gusto yung boyfriend ko. Hindi daw kasi pumupunta sa bahay and sa work lang daw ako dinadalaw. The thing is, he does his best to spend time with me naman kaso between his master's degree, work, time with his own family, and charitable organization, medyo mahirap talaga siya i-balance ang time niya. Okay naman yung boyfriend ko, sweet and caring but ayaw ni mother sa kanya. Dumating na nga lang sa point na hindi ko na lang sinasabi sa mother ko kung lalabas kami ng boyfriend ko after work ko para mag-date or bonding para lang makasama ko siya. Ngayon, balak ko mag-rent ng room just for myself para naman maranasan ko maging malaya and to become responsible for my life for once. Kaso ayun, nakakaramdam ako ng guilt kasi siya na lang maiiwan sa apartment. Di ko naman ihihinto yung pagbibigay ko sa kanya. Di ko lang alam kung paano ko i-open sa kanya na aalis na ako kasi alam ko, boyfriend ko ang sisisihin niya sa pagbukod ko. Nabanggit niya din before nung nag-away kami na kapag umalis ako, wala na akong babalikan. Magkalimutan na daw. Ganun. Ayoko naman na mangyari yon pero ayoko din na habang buhay kontrolado niya ako. So ayun, torn ako kung ako ba yung gago dahil gusto kong lumaya pero ang tanging way na nakikita ko para mangyari yon is to move out. Pero may iiwan mag-isa ang nanay ko and she might feel na ina-abandon ako siya there.
Definitely not gago. And I'm so relate.
Talaga?
I'm so relate to this. But the only difference is that I have two parents. And it seems like solo parent yung mom niya. I don't recall her saying na merong father figure on the story.
Wala. Walang sinabi dito.
Hindi siya gago dun sa part na yun. It's actually inevitable for her to do. And I would recommend that you do the bukod thing from college pa lang. Not now na you're already working. Although it's good kasi you have money to pay for the rent and all that. Pero like for me kasi, ang ginawa ko, kasi ganyan din ako eh. Ganyan din yung parents ko sa akin. Especially high school. Ang daming bawal ako. Bawal. So yung mga classmate ko nung high school, hindi ko sila masyadong nakaka-bonding dun sa mga namin. Sa mga happenings. Na I really wish that I could have been a part of those things. na kapag ka nagre-reunion kami, nagsasama-sama kami. I could not relate to the story kasi wala ako dun. I wish I was there kasi ayaw kong payagan nung high school. So, I am the person na ayoko na masyado ako nire-restrict. Nasasakal talaga ako. So, what I did is that when I stepped on college, I made myself unavailable to free times. What I mean is, pinuload ko yung mga studies ko, yung activities ko sa school. Nag-pep squad ako. Kaya, you would really see, I really needed to go there and get a bed space. Kasi nagsasuffer yung health ko, yung body ko, sobrang payat ko kasi laging puyat. Ang dire-diretso yung kwento ko.
Hindi, sige lang. Wait, so yung school mo, malayo dyan?
Yes! Kasi Antipolo, PUP, Santa Mesa, layo. So, mga 1.5 hours biyahe ko. Papunta pa lang, pauwi, 1.5 hours din. So, kung araw-araw ko ganun, 3 hours every day babiyahe ako. Pasok ko 7 a.m. Mag-out ako ng academics 3 p.m. Pero, 3 p.m. up to like 5, 6 p.m. is my pep squad time. So, like, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., nasa school ako. And then, the rest of the hours is gugugulin ko sa biyahe. O kaya may mga extracurricular kwentuhan pa with my peeps after 7. So, talagang kulang yung oras ko para magpahinga. So, kaya, pinakita ko talaga sa parents ko, ay, kailangan ko na mag-bed space. That gave me a way to really parang have my parents allow me to go on bed space and live alone. So, I would suggest na ganun din yung ginawa nito ni Ope. Pero at this scenario, just tell it to the parents or to the mother. You really have to go through it. Sure, makukonsensya ka right now kasi may iwan mo siya mag-isa. Pero kasi, in the long run, pag nagpakasal ka, may iwan din siya mag-isa eh. Diba?
True.
Why not? Sanayin mo na siya ngayon.
Yeah, tsaka ito na naman tayo sa babalik na naman tayo dun sa toxic culture ng mga Pilipino Kasi nakaka-relate ako sa part na yan then kasi dumating sa point sa akin since panganay nga ako. So dumating sa point na the only way for me to move out of our house is to get married. Dumating yun dun sa ganong point. Kasi lahat nga din bawal yung bawal lumabas. Tapos pag pupunta ka sa friends mo, parang laging kailangan, alam mo yun, lahat ng gagawin mo or ginagawa mo, kailangan updated sila, anong address, ang pupunta, anong address niyan, ganyan. Ganon sila. So parang yung feeling ko nun dati, I think was it around that age ba yun when I was with yung ex ko? Kasi parang 3 months in the relationship, nag-decide na kaming mag-live-in So, ayun.
Super
parang,
early.
Oo. Ayun, ang nangyari noon is parang doon na break yung cycle or yung toxic culture within my family kasi I really pushed to move out. Because I had that conversation with my parents kasi I was like, so paano? Gusto nyo mangyari sa akin maging successful ako, ganyan. Gusto nyo marating ko yung mga gusto kong marating. Sabi ko, paano ko siya mararating kung yung lahat ng sweldo ko sa inyo na pupunta? Walang natitira sa akin. Paano ako makakaipon? Sabi kong ganun. So, paano ko...
was your situation before? Talagang lahat ng sa kanila na pupunta.
Yung first job ko, as in, the whole year na yon lahat ng sweldo ko, napupunta lang din sa expenses sa bahay. Kasi ako, sumalo halos lahat Actually, lahat.
Ouch.
So, hindi naman malaki yung sweldo mo ng first job mo. Diba? Magkano ng sweldo ko? Ng 13,000 per month. Ubus talaga. Nangungupahan pa kami nun. So, tapos yun, dumating pa sa part na hindi lang ako, kasi ako nag-offer nun mind you, ako yung nag-offer magbayad ng bahay. So dumating pa sa point na, I don't know kung ano nangyari nun, pero nagkulang yung sweldo ko for some reason. Sumama pa yung loob sa akin kasi nga hindi ako makapagbayad ng bahay na ako yung nag-initiate magbayad. Na supposedly, hindi ko naman talaga responsibility. I just, offered to pay for it because I now have my own salary. So, ang hirap nung part na yun. So, nung dumating yung opportunity na mag-move out ako, umiyak pa sa akin yung mother ko kasi sabi niya, bakit daw ako aalis? Iiwanan ko daw siya, ganyan-ganyan. At tas yun, sabi ko na kailangan ko rin kasing matutunan na bumukod sa inyo, matutunan kung paano yung mamuhay ng sarili, ganyan. Kasi,
Correct.
'di ba? At some point kailangan din natin yun matutunan. Kasi iba talaga pag nasa parents ka eh. Kasi pagdating mo, may pagkain na. Pagdating mo, 'di ba, malinis na yung kaya may naglalaban na para sa wala ka nang gagawin. When you're living alone, you have to do every fucking thing all by yourself. So, you
Correct.
have no choice but to learn how to do everything.
Yes. Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to that,
So that
toxic
was
culture.
your way of moving out is
Yeah,
to
it felt-
move,
yeah,
live
it
in
felt
with your
before.
ex.
Oo, na parang, ba yan? Parang, paano ba to? Paano pa ba ako mag-move out nito, magsasarili? Kasi ayaw nga nila. So, parang kailangan talaga magpakasal muna ako bago ako makaalis dito sa bahay na to. Parang ganun na yung naging mindset ko. Kasi nga sobrang strict. Sobrang strict nila. Parehas kaming babae pa ng kapatid ko. So,
That's so
Ayun.
sad to think about, no? The only way for you to move out is to marry.
right? 'Di ba? So, even sa sister ko, may mga times na ganon din yung nila, na parang she's already 30 plus years old and they're still, treating her like she's a high school student, a kid. So, parang you have to remind them.
I wanted to get out of that kind of mindset. Yung titinatrato ka pa rin na parang high school.
Yeah.
So that's why, college, I pushed for it. Pinakita ko sa kanila, kailangan kong gawin to. Kasi kita niyo naman ako, pumapayat ako. Yung bata ka pa. Kasi yung college din, syempre. College body ka pa. So yung ganung cycle na everyday ganun yung activities mo sa school, talagang mahihirapan yung katawan mo. So, wala na silang choice. They actually had to allow me to do a bed space. Besides, ang tuition fee ko lang sa PUP is just 500 pesos. So, ano naman yung yung magre-rent lang ako every month o bed space, 'di ba? Bed space lang 'yun. It's not totally one room solo.
Oo. So, iba talaga eh. Kasi iba naman yung culture natin from other cultures like the US or here sa Europe na bumubukod na sila at the age of 18. Sa atin, iba. Diba?
Oh. So, she's 25. I think it's already a good age to move out.
It is.
Not to be, na hindi ka makukonsensya. Supposed to be, hindi ka na makukonsensya because you're already at the right age. Kahit magkaanak ka ngayon, doesn't matter. You have a job. You can support yourself. And even if that happens, dapat mas masaya pa yung parent mo nun. Although, parang solo parent yung mom niya. Dadami kayo. If it happens, di ba?
Yeah, I don't get it. Kasi di ba sabi niya, sobrang strict daw ng mother niya. And sabi nung nanay niya, parang ayaw niya daw dun sa jowa kasi yung jowa hindi mo ibisita dun sa kanila. Tapos, pag kinasal daw siya, gusto yata ng mother niya dun sa kanila tumira.
It's not the right mindset.
It's not. Parang
If
tinalo mo na ng gusto sa'yo yung anak mo.
If I'm the mom, mahihiya ako. If I was her mom, mahihiya ako na sasabihin ko yung pagka bumukod kayo, isama nyo.
Diba? Tsaka why?
I think may attachment problem din yung mother niya.
Yeah, I think so. Tapos yun nga, may pagka-controlling kasi nga gusto niya lahat ikukonsulta sa kanya. Like, hello, 25 years old na yung anak mo. Hayaan mo na siyang mabuhay. Diba? Ng sarili
At
niya.
this point, I think yung mom din niya kailangan din matuto na maging solo.
Yeah.
Because
Oo.
if you don't get out of that cycle, mahihirapan mahabang panahon. So
There's
you really
no
have to
way to-
take
Correct.
the action na
Yeah, there's no way to break that toxic.
without doing it.
Oo, that toxic relationship or that toxic mindset. Kung hindi, yun nga, mag-move out ka, hayaan mo siya. So, ayun.
At this point, it's both of them who needs to learn how to detach.
I think she's ready to detach. Yung nanay niya yung ayaw.
Nakukonsensya siya eh.
Well, kasi nga, matagal mo nang nakasama eh. And I think part of it, when you're living with someone who's so controlling, that also affects your mindset or your perception eh. Kind of, you've been, quote-unquote, manipulated, diba? Throughout these years na kasama mo yung ganong klaseng tao. So, I think that would be a normal situation for her to feel bad because, she's leaving her mom.
It is, but she also needs to learn to detach from that controlling environment.
Yeah.
The fact na lagi siyang makokonsensya, yun yung ano niya eh. Yun yung pinakabalakid ng problem niya eh.
Yep.
So she also really do need to learn how to detach from that scenario. Kasi if she will keep on thinking about the conscience, na baka ganito, mag-isa na lang si mother, masistuck siya dun sa mindset na yun hanggat hindi niya ginagawa yung kailangan niya gawin.
Let's see the comments. Sabi dito, hindi ka gago. Obviously, may control issues yung mama mo. Have you ever tried setting boundaries? If yes, tapos walang nagbago or naging masama ka pa sa pag-set ng boundaries, better leave na lang. Ayaw niya maging mag-isa pero at the same time, she's giving you all the reason to leave. Also, kung 23K lang sahod mo and bumukod ka, I don't think kakayanin mo pa magbigay ng 6K sa mother mo. You have to plan everything carefully, OP, or else you're gonna be stuck in that cycle. Worst comes to worst, you're going to live with her and baka tumanda kang dalaga at may sama ng loob dahil sa mom mo. And then, OP replied, yun din po yung nasabi ko sa kanya na sa sobrang taas ng standards niya, wala na akong magiging karelasyon talaga. Ako din po kasi nakikita niya na mag-aalaga sa kanya pagtanda. Another toxic trait.
Yun.
Anyways, while wala namang problema sa akin na alagaan at suportahan siya, nakakaramdam kasi talaga ako na wala akong choice kundi sundin siya sa mga gusto niya. Regarding sa sahod, madalas po ako mag-OT sa work kaya lumalagpas naman ng 23K yung sweldo pero alam ko di sustainable yon na lagi akong mag-OT. Bawasan ko talaga yung para mabuhay ako. 2K lang naman yung room na i-rent ko. All in na kaya carry ko naman siguro.
For a beginner, 23K is high enough for her
Diba
to
sabi ko nga, nag-start ako 13. 13K per month. But well, this
I
is
think
nowadays.
I started with 7, but I
Mababa pa rin
recall.
yung sa akin.
Tapos yung yung taxes pa nun. Meron kaming pang cover ng taxes eh kasi yung mga performance bonuses namin. It covers the taxes, which is kaya kahit 17K lang yun, parang ang laki pa rin ng nakukuha. Parang ganun.
True, at saka kasi this is nowadays. So, iba na rin kasi yung ngayon gastusin sa panahon ngayon. So,
Pero 2K a month for rent, I don't think that's doable anymore. Unless bed space yan.
feeling ko bed space all in daw eh. So, actually mura ko na yun eh.
Mura talaga yun. Kasi yung nag-solo ako nung panahon pa. So, 20 years ago. Yung solo na room na may sariling CR. And sa condo, parang maid's room pa yung klase ng room na nakuha ko. It's 5K. Condo na yun. Room na may CR. Pero maid's room yun na may CR.
Yeah.
20 years ago yun. 5K. O gusto ko ngayon, mas mahal yun.
Yeah. Trigger ako dun sa sabi na parang kailangan susuportahan daw siya yung nanay pagtanda. Ang alagaan daw siya.
Or it is. Toxic,
Yeah, it is. Parang wala ka ng parang pinanganak ka dito sa mundo para lumaki. Tapos pagtanda mo, doon ka lang din sa sa tabi ng nanay mo. Tapos mamamatay ka, naaalagaan mo siya. Alagaan mo siya hanggat nandyan siya. Pag hanggang mamatay siya, alagaan mo siya. Parang ganun. Ganun lang yung role mo sa sa mundo na to.
Sino ka nakasaman dun daw para alagaan mo yung parents mo?
Oo, para maging caregiver ng parents mo. Parang you don't have the right to live. You don't have the right of choice, yung freedom. Wala. Parang yun lang talaga yung naging purpose mo.
Yan ang investment ng nanay mo.
Oo, ng nanay mo. Literal. Which is, I fucking hate that. I really do.
For her own sake, no? I mean, as Filipinos, we don't have a problem taking care of our parents pagtanda natin. Pero you don't have to shove it off on our faces na ganun yung gagawin. That's our role pag tumanda sila. Hindi na nila kailangan ipamukha yun. We're just gonna do it. They don't have to say it. Diba? Pero yung para ipasabi talaga sa'yo ng nanay mo na yun ang role mo, eto sundin mo to lahat ng gusto niya. It goes to show na merong certain immaturity yung nanay niya.
And so selfish. Ang selfish ng ganun.
Very selfish.
So, parang dumadating na parang ang labas nito, parang nag-anak ka para lang may mag-alaga sa'yo pag tumanda ka. Literal talaga na ganun yung ginawa mo sa anak mo. Hindi mo na siya binigyan ng, alam mo yun,
sarili niyang buhay.
Oo, 'di ba? Parang grabe ginawa mo talagang slave yung anak mo na yun na lang yung role niya pagtanda niya. Kaya sabi ko, yan yung isa sa mga nakakainis talaga sa culture natin. I fucking hate that with a passion. Kasi iba talaga yung Kasi Naramdaman ko kasi yan sa namin sa family din namin. Buti nga ngayon, okay na rin yung parents ko. Mas naiintindihan na nila. Pero dumating talaga ako sa point na ganyan. Parang ito na lang ba yung role ko? Ito na lang ba yung role namin ng kapatid ko? Na parang mag-aalaga na lang kami. Yung pera namin, doon na lang laging napupunta. Alam mo yun, paano pa kami makakaipon? Dumating kami sa point na ganyan Especially with our situation when,
Walang pension yung parents.
walang
mo, diba?
pension kasi hindi nga nila naisip yun back then. So literal na 100% nakadependa sila sa amin. Yung mga ganon.
I feel
Mahirap.
like that kind of setup is kind of irresponsible for the parents' part.
They tried when they were young, but there
Oh.
were some instances or circumstances that, that happened na hindi nila yun naituloy. But yeah, so, nandito na tayo ngayon. There's really no way for me to bring back the past. Ito na tayo ngayon So, we just have to deal with it, whatever, the situation is. But the frustration there is I could have, or me and my sister could have, established our own lives much earlier than we have now kung hindi ganun yung sitwasyon namin.
Great.
So, I could have done a lot more for myself and for my future if it wasn't like that. So,
Well,
that's...
I think we have regrets in all different kind of aspects. No, it's just that swerte lang ng mga tao na the parents they lived with is yung established na, Pero yun dun sa mga normal mediocre people na mediocre kasi on our generation, we can, yung parang kumikita na tayo, just a mid-range, we pay our taxes, and we are doing that because our parents was not as capable of being money makers in their time.
Sa side ko, hindi nila naisip yon to invest on their future. Mainly because it was influenced maybe of, the culture of, may mga anak ka, I'm pretty sure they're gonna support you when you're old and gray. They'll be there to, be there basically for you and support you. I guess dun nang galing yung na yon. Kasi nga, alam nila na aalagaan sila. Which is, aalagaan at aalagaan naman talaga. Yun nga lang, like what you said earlier, it doesn't have to be shoved on our faces na, ito lang talaga yung role mo. Yan lang gagawin, diba?
It's an automatic thing for us to offer even na aalagaan natin yung parents natin in the long run. You don't really even have to say it. It's automatic. But, para ipamuka sa atin na ito yung role mo habang tumanda ako. Parang that's too much.
It is too much. I'm pretty sure maraming makaka-relate nito for those people who've been in that situation because you're forced to grow up as earlier as you can, as much as you can kasi nga you are, you're the one who's responsible na dun sa family. So, at an, early age, kailangan mo agad na matutong mag-ayos ng pera mo, yung matutong...
Maging responsable sa iba.
Responsable. Yeah.
Bukod
Kasi,
sa sarili mo.
true.
Hindi ka pa nakapag-establish ng sarili mo, nag-establish ka na ng iba.
Correct. Nandun na kaagad, nakapasan na kaagad sa
May
responsibility.
pasanin ka na agad
Oo.
Hindi ka pa
Oo.
nakakatayo, may pasanin ka na agad.
Correct. Ayan. Anyways, moving along. So, yung isa pang comment dito, di ka gago. Ganyan na ganyan din ako nung 25 years old ako. Gusto makalaya. Di ko siya naiwan nun kasi nga literal na maiiwan siyang mag-isa. Nung nag-asawa na ako, dun lang ako finally nakalaya. See, I told you. May ganong instances. May sarili kaming bahay noon pero ginastusan ko pa rin sa renovation nung 2023 kaya may sariling space naman siya. Hindi ko rin tinigil yung financial support and lahat ng bills niya sagot ko. Pero eventually napagod ako. Na-drain ako hanggang sa hindi ko na siya kinausap. Marami pang nangyari kaya lalong lumayo yung loob ko sa kanya hanggang finally nag-decide ako na wag na siya kausapin. May support pa rin naman financially pero di na kami nag-uusap. Nakaka-guilty talaga sa una OP pero kailangan mo talaga mag-set ng boundaries or else ikaw matatalo. If gusto mo mag-move out, go. Walang katumbas ang peace of mind na makukuha mo kapag may sarili kang space and hindi ka restricted sa decisions mo.
Wala ka pang anak, may sinusustentahan ka na, no?
Oo, diba? See, may mga ganon.
Kakakasal mo lang. Pero may sinusustentahan ka na.
Mm-hmm.
How can you build your own home?
Exactly. Ito pa. Di ka gago. Na-try mo na ba, OP, di sundin yung rules niya for once? Try to be a little rebellious and wag sundin lahat ng sinasabi niya kasi nasanay na din nanay mo na sundin mo siya palagi. It's not like you are still a teenager. Adult ka na and working. You have your own money naman to sustain yourself. Maggala-gala. May choice ka naman sundin rules ng nanay mo. So, it's up to you kung susundin mo ba or hindi. Kung magalit siya sa'yo at pagsabihan ka, it will pass lang din naman. Remember, you're an adult na and not a teenager anymore. Tapos, nag-reply si OP dito. Sabi niya, na-try ko na pusuwayin siya several times pero patago, like palihim na gala kasama mga kaibigan ng college. Pero sasabihin ko, may pasok ako ganun or kaya nag-OT ako sa work pero kasama ko lang talaga yung boyfriend ko. Sa sobrang strict niya, nagiging malihim talaga ako. Sabi nung isang commenter. Why hide it? Just do it. Ano naman sabihin niya? Ignore mo lang. Stand up for yourself dahil minsan lang or kahit minsan lang. Kung gusto mo mag-swimming with friends, go. D&D mo na lang phone mo pag hinanap ka. Pag uwi mo, ignore mo lang ang pagtatalak. Magkulong ka sa kwarto.
Yeah.
Grabe naman kasi yung mama niya. Sobrang stricto naman. Parang, hello, nagtatrabaho na yung anak mo. Parang hindi mo ba payagan na pumunta sa outing or swimming?
Ako, the moment I went to college, that's when I really started rebelling for what I want to do. Regardless, gaano ka-strict yung parents ko. Since I'm an only daughter. Siyempre, strict sila, only daughter. Nahirapan talaga ako na lumabas dun sa mindset na ng pagiging strict nila. But, I really had to rebel from that mindset para maramdaman ko namang mag-enjoy kasama ng mga friends ko. College na eh. I cannot live on the same mindset as we had in high school.
True.
Kaya ang dami ko talagang ginawa nung college na mga things na hindi alam ng family ko.
Yeah, that's the thing with strict parents. Ang tendency ng mga anak, hindi na lang sabihin.
Hindi na lang sasabihin, oo. Wouldn't it be best for letting us, your sons and daughters, to actually let you know where we are going, what are we going to do, rather than magtago kami kasi sobrang strict nyo.
Exactly. Diba? I have the same sentiment. Kasi nga, ganun. Sobrang strict nila. I mean, we're all growing up. We've all been there. Naging bata din tayo. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've, done some of those things then before. So, doesn't really make sense for them to be so strict. Tapos ang tendency, hindi rin sasabihin ng mga anak kasi nga, sobrang strict ng magulang. Why not? Let them live. Let them be. If they fucked it up, then dun sila tututo, diba?
That's the way to learn. Hindi naman lahat ng bagay matututunan namin sa parents or sa loob ng household. We really have to get out of there and get out of our comfort zones to really experience life and understood what's going on outside, diba?
Yeah. So, ang maganda lang talaga dyan is for you to, be there for them, still guide them kasi there are kids naman kasi na talagang over the top naman yung pagka-rebellious talagang ibang level naman pero yeah, there's
if the OP doesn't want to be conscious, just tell your mom that this is what you're gonna do. This is what you want to do. I don't care what you're thinking, mom. I want to do this. I am old enough.
Yeah, she's 25. Like, ilang taon ka ba dapat para mag-move out? 40? Ganun?
And you're married.
Diba? Well, it doesn't look like her mom wants her to leave kasi diba pag nag-asawa nga siya, nila sa bahay nila, diba?
Yeah.
So hanggang mamatay ka.
Your mom is telling you your relationship is forever.
No. Hanggang magkaanak ka, doon ka pa
Your
rin.
living situationship is going to be forever. We don't necessarily have a problem with that, pero if it's being shoved in your face, that's going to be a problem.
Nakakaano yung gano'n? Parang lahat bawat. Nakakasakal yung gano'n?
Anyway, sakal na sakal talaga.
Oo, diba? Last comment here. Hindi ka gago sa pagnanais mong bumukod. Ang tawag dyan, healthy boundaries. Hindi kasi pagmamahal ang kontrol at hindi rin responsibilidad ng anak na punan ang emotional emptiness ng magulang. Kung nasasaktan siya sa desisyon mo, hindi dahil inaabandona mo na siya, kundi dahil sanay siyang hawak lahat ng kilos mo. Natural sa kanya matrigger, pero hindi ibig sabihin na kailangan mong manatiling maliit para lang hindi siya ma-offend. Ang paglaya mo ay hindi betrayal. At kung pagmamahal ang basehan ng relasyon, dapat kayanin niya tanggapin na nagiging sarili kang tao, hindi extension niya. Gago ang magulang na ginagamit ang guilt para pigilan ka. Hindi ka gago for wanting a life that belongs to you.
True. Agree.
Well, very well said.
1,000%.
Yeah. So, hindi ka gago dito, okay?
No, you're not.
Nope.
Get out. Live your
Yeah.
life.
Yes. Live your life.
YOLO.
Mabilis lang dumaan yung panahon. So,
Pagsisisihan mo yan. Pag 40s ka na, tapos na-realize mo, I should have done this, and that. Pero you're old enough na you don't have the energy anymore. You can't do it. No, you already passed the time.
true. So, next story is coming from r/adviceph. So, this one is 5 days ago. Title, I, 28 female, fell in love with my gay best friend, 29 male. This feels like a Wattpad story, except it happened to me in real life. I, 28 female, been in love with my close friend, 29 male, for about 3 years na. Hindi ko talaga in-expect na mahuhulog ako. Bigla lang siyang nangyari. We've known each other since teens pa, and we've been through major milestones together. Super close kami. Like, I know things about him na hindi niya sinasabi sa iba, and he knows a lot about me too. He identifies as pansexual. Pero to be honest, mas attracted talaga siya sa guys, and deep down, I know he's gay. Most of the people he dates, flirts, and hookups with are men, and he's very active sa dating apps for men, especially sa Grindr. Pero ito yung confusing. He treats me differently. He teases me, remembers the tiniest details about me, shows up for me, and parang he gets me on a level na wala pang ibang taong nakagawa. We watch movies together, lumalabas kaming dalawa, and honestly, ang dami naming moments na parang kami, pero hindi kami. Reality check. He clearly likes guys, and every time I see him flirting or hearing about his dates, sobrang sakit. I try to brush it off kasi life niya yun, but it hurts every single time. I wanted to believe that I could be his exception. Kasi kahit gay siya and sexually active, tanggap ko siya ng buo. I fell in love with his soul first, not his body. I've kept these feelings to myself for 3 years. Exhausting siya. Kahit simpleng gesture niya, nagpapakaba sa akin. Pero at the same time, every day, parang may kirot kasi babae ako and lalaki gusto niya. Ito pa, whenever I ask him if kaya ba niyang magkagusto sa girl, lagi niyang sagot, oo naman, possible. Pero hanggang dun lang. Wala namang follow-up action or interest. Hindi ko alam kung polite answer lang yun or totoo. Recently, nagbago na yung friendship. Hindi na kasi kami sing open tulad before. May slight awkwardness na, like may invisible wall. Hindi na kami nagko-confine and nag-share sa isa't isa the same way. Pero whenever we talk, masaya pa rin pero something is different. It's not the same anymore. Reddit, may chance ba talaga or confused lang ako dahil sobrang close namin? And the biggest question haunting me lately, if aamin ako, would that help me finally move on or would it just ruin everything? Hindi ko alam kung worth it sabihin or kung mas dapat ko nang itanong sa sarili ko kung kaya ko pang dalhin to ng tahimik. Anyone been in a similar situation? A girl falling in love with her gay friend? How did you move on without ruining the friendship?
Sabi nga sa Big Bang Theory, you have to apply the method of the Schrodinger's cat. It was an experiment eh. So yung cat was sealed in the box. You don't know if it's still alive or not until you open it. Yan. So, you won't know if he feels something to you or not unless you open the conversation. And like what the OP said, he's pansexual, meaning he can be attracted to people regardless of gender. Is what it means. So, yung fact na you're acting like parang sweet-sweetams kayo and that he knows a lot about you naturally because parang lumaki kayo, tumanda kayo.
Kasama sila.
Habang panahon, right? So, he does know a lot of things about you na hindi alam na ibang tao. So, you would feel very attached to that pero you won't really just know if there's something going on in there. There's a possibility. Kasi nga, pansexual siya. But you won't know until you actually ask.
True. I'd say for her to go for it, to tell the friend. But before you go for it, dapat ready ka kung ano yung maging consequences. Kasi there is a possibility na, well, you're both, growing up, and there's a possibility na magkaroon ng lamat yung friendship because of that. So, dapat ready ka sa kung ano man yung mangyari. Diba?
Based on this story, it would seem as if they would be friendship for at least more than 7 years. Although hindi natin alam yun. But my point being is that there is a big possibility, a chance na hindi masira yung relationship mo as friendships if you've been friends for more than 7 years.
But my only thing is, hindi naman sila, they're not growing together, they're friends, but they both have their own lives separately. So I guess for me, he might grow out of it, yung kung ano man siya dati, baka hindi na rin siya ganun ngayon. So I don't know, maybe
there
maybe
can
not.
be a change in the momentum
attitude,
of their friendship,
character.
There's always that risk. But you don't want to go to 40s without knowing.
Yun din naman, oo.
I would go for it and ask.
Yeah, for me, I'd go for it.
Why mo masira yung friendship niyo, ginahin mo sa biro?
I'm pretty sure kilala naman niya na yung friend niya kung paano makipag-usap sa friend niya. So, let's see the
mo na lang
comments.
pag if it doesn't work out for you.
Bawiin yung joke. Ay, joke lang pala.
Parang joke lang yun. Diba?
Sabi, my God, this is like me when I was 19. Ha 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 ha. Potek. Ang tagal na. Ang masasabi ko lang is, buti na lang hindi ako nag-confess sa girl best friend ko. Parang nilayuan ko muna siya and met with other people. Siyempre, nagsabi din ako sa kanya na, Bessie, I need to see more people or else tatanda akong di makakatikim ng luto ng Diyos. Eventually, nagbalik din sigla ng friendship namin after some time. We are more mature, dala ang life lessons daw na may share sa isa't isa. I mean, you can say it that way too. Hindi masyadong serious.
Sabi nga, your relationship should be your peace. If you're confused right now and you're not at peace, maybe that's one sign na hindi ito mag-work.
Yeah, but
because there is going to be that mindset na, ay, baka magkagusto sa ibang guy, sa ibang girl, because he's pansexual, diba? Can you live with the fact na may gusto rin siyang ibang guy?
What do you mean? Like, if nagkatuluyan sila or?
Pag nagkatuluyan sila, could you live with the fact na may gusto siyang ibang guy at the same time as you?
I mean, kung ako siguro yun, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty much the same as being in a straight relationship. That person or your girlfriend or yung boyfriend mo, there's tendency pa rin na they can, they will be attracted to other people. So,
but what if, well, guys being guys, and for those na yung medyo confused pa kung gusto nila girl o boy, a lot of times what happens is they could be on one monogamous relationship with the girl, pero since they are attracted to other gender, ang tendency is nagto-two-time sila with men that they figured they are attracted to. Ganun kasi yung nagiging tendency.
True, but it is the same as being, na nangangaliwa ka na straight ka. May girlfriend ka, may kinikita kang isa pang babae on the side.
Pero since they started being friends, the moment that happens, friendship over na yan.
Yeah.
If she can live with that fact.
Nandun pa rin yung na kailangan mo munang isipin yung mga consequences before you do it. Just make sure that you're ready for it. Kung ano man yung mangyari. And nag-comment si OP dito, sabi niya, grabe, thank you for sharing this. I feel so seen kasi parang ako rin to in real time. Hahaha. Ang tagal mo rin pala nag-process ng feelings mo, and honestly, ang comforting marinig na hindi ako nag-iisa sa ganitong experience. So, sabi dito nung nag-reply pa si commenter. Actually, di naman matagal yung processing kasi accepted ko naman na di siya may in love sa akin. Habang umaasa ka, mas lalong mahirap.
You've had that situation before.
Wala.
Have you? Wala pa.
Wala. Have you?
Maybe. Siguro hindi ko
Talaga?
lang napatunayan kung gay ba yung guy o hindi.
Okay. Kasi meron akong mga gay friends eh. Meron tayong mga gay friends. So, ayun.
I just thought I had that same kind of... Nakabulan sila. I just thought I could relate to that kwento she had na very sweet sila, hindi naman sila. Tapos, he could remember small things about her, pero hindi sila. Or he does not even say na gusto ka niya or what.
Or maybe that's
I could
just
relate
his
to that,
personality.
Pero I don't know if that person that I liked before was gay or not. I didn't discover it.
Okay.
Until now, I don't know.
Well, that could be just his personality na ganun talaga siya. He's just a caring person.
Maybe.
You know? Another comment here. If I didn't know any better, I would have gaslighted myself into thinking na ako sumulat nito, OP. I feel you, sobra. We're older than you guys, but I've been in the exact boat as you for about 2 years already. I told myself I'll come clean before this year ends, and I'm just psyching myself up to bring this up to him. Kung ako na lang ang advice na natanggap ko, yun din ang sasabihin ko sa'yo. Bring it up to your best friend. If, number 1, if alam mong ready ka, either way it goes for him and your friendship. And number 2, for your own clarity and ma-unburden ka without expecting anything in return. Ang daling sabihin, and I definitely know mahirap paniwalaan, but if you're really as good friends as you know you are, whichever way it goes, ayan, may konting chance pa rin naman, hahaha. Time will make sure na hindi yan friendship over. So, nag-reply si OP. Grabe, thank you for this. Nilagyan sa grabe, thank you for this. Grabe. Daming napapansin. Ang comforting malaman na may iba pa rin dumaan in this same exact situation. Yung tagal ng feelings, yung overthinking, yung should I say it or not, lahat. And hearing it from someone older and a bit ahead in the journey, ibang level yung impact. I also love what you said about time healing friendships. Ang ganda nung thought na if the friendship is real and strong, kakayanin niya kahit may awkward face or kahit hindi mag-align ng feelings. Thank you for sharing your own experience. Parang nagbigay ka ng permission na huminga at mag-slow down. Sobra akong natulungan nitong comment mo and good luck din sa inyo. Another one says, I don't think you should ignore the fact that he identifies as pansexual. I'm bi. Right now, I'm more attracted to males pero every now and then na-attract sa babae. My boy best friend confessed to me pero I declined. We were still close friends till his death. Sabi ni OP, you're right, hindi ko rin dapat i-dismiss yung fact na he identifies as pansexual. I think I was clinging too much to the possibility na maybe he could like me someday, pero hearing it from someone who actually understands the spectrum, mas nagiging clear sa akin ngayon. Thank you for reminding me of that and for sharing your experience. Another one. Somehow, nakarelate ako. I have this friend too. We've known each other since elementary. Meron pa kaming promise na gino-joke sa isa't isa na kung umabot ng 30s na wala pa kaming jowa, kami na lang mag-aasawa. He's very good looking. Crush ng campus nung high school na kami. Di rin maiwasan na nagkagusto ako kasi sobrang bait pa. I've secretly liked him for years, pero yung umamin siya one day na bakla siya at yung college best friend niyang guy ay sila pala, hahaha. Siyempre broken-hearted a catch. Pero sinubukan kong maging masaya. Nakatulong yung distance sa akin. Nakipag-date din ako sa iba. Later on, na-realize ko, I don't want to ruin our friendship, kaya kinip ko. Till now, we're still friends, parehong single and we're in our 30s na. Pero di nagbago gusto niya, lalaki pa rin. Naisip ko na lang yung dating feelings ko for him, pero hindi ko na in-entertain. Pinili ko friendship namin. Ayaw ko yung mawala kung ano yung meron kami. Lalo na ramdam ko na friends lang din / kapatid turing niya sa akin. Kaya it's up to you po, ano pipiliin mo? Sabi ni OP, Ang sakit pero ang ganda rin ng story nyo. Yung years of friendship, yung title promise nyo, tapos yung moment na inamin niya na gay pala siya. This is what I'm experiencing right now. Masakit po talaga siya kasi you love that person pero alam mo na hindi niya kaya ibigay pabalik yung love na yun. Honestly, ang comforting marinig from someone na minsan the best choice talaga is to protect the friendship instead of risking it. Thank you for your advice.
Very grateful siya mag-reply yan.
Oo.
If you would pick a situation, would you rather be hurt from somebody gay or somebody straight? Parang it hurts less, no? If you experience that with somebody gay.
Hindi ko alam.
Hindi mo alam. Hindi mo na-experience.
Hindi ko alam if it will be worse or if it's just the same for me.
I just think it hurts less. Kasi you can still move past that scenario or that mindset and become friends pa rin after. Pero if that's coming from a straight guy, wala na yan. Friendship over
wait
na
lang.
yan totally.
Ano bang situation natin dito? I need context.
Yung bang nagkagusto ka sa guy pero hindi parang tinatrato ka niyang
But your
kanya ng
friends
mabait.
first.
Oo, your friends feeling mo gusto ka niya.
Mm.
Pero iba pala yung gusto. I just think that it hurts a lot less if it's coming from a gay guy than a straight guy who likes other person than you na kahit na pinakitaan kanya ng maganda.
Yeah, I get that point kasi you can never compete with a different gender So there's really no comparison there compared to, the other person liking other girls or other
With
women.
same genders, yeah.
Mm.
So I think you can say it so that malaman mo kung ano ba talaga yung sitwasyon. And I think you can still be friends after.
One last comment. Just by looking at the title, isipin ko ako nagsulat. Another,
Puro ganun,
diba? Yun yung mga sinasabi nila. I'm in the same situation. At ang dami pala natin. Ha. I know, right? Hugs with consent, girls. Makakayanan natin to.
Oh my God.
Kung bakit ba kasi sobrang pinaramdam niya sa akin kung paano itrato ng tama. Siya ang standard ko sa pag-ibig. Na kung di man lang makakatapat sa kung paano niya ako itrato at ang pamilya ko, wag na lang. Pero katulad ng ibang comment, I suggest kung di ka ready masira ang friendship at mawala siya, wag ka na umamin. Ako, in the most selfish point of view, hindi ko gustong mawala siya. He's the only guy I can be vulnerable with. Lahat ng sugat ko sa buhay, alam niya. Kilala niya ako sa paraang hindi makikilala ng iba. At ganun din ako sa kanya. Sabi nila, find someone who speaks your language so you don't have to translate yourself forever. At siya lang yun. I'm the happiest when I am with him and I wouldn't trade it even if it means being dishonest with my feelings. Pero alam mo, OP, I have this silent prayer na kung lolo-obin man, kung talagang lolo-obin, gusto ko siya makasama. Pero hindi talaga siguro, he will never be in love with a woman. Taray nung message. Ganun.
But I don't think that relates to language of
Not necessarily
based on country.
language. Not ibang to. Ito naman syempre metaphoric naman yung ito. Guess kung paano yung start ng statement ni OP.
Grabe.
Diba?
Alam ko na.
Grabe, this hit me so hard. Thank you for sharing this. Parang binasa ko rin yung sarili kong puso. And comforting pala to know I'm not the only one carrying this kind of quiet sadness. Hugs with consent din po. I really felt what you said about natawa ako doon sa hugs with
Ganun yung
consent.
spiel.
Oo nga eh.
Recorded ba to?
I don't know. So far, alam ko tayo lang recorded. I really felt what you said about he's the only guy I can be vulnerable with. Same. Siya rin yung safe space ko. The only person who made me feel seen without needing to explain myself. And that's why ang hirap. Kasi the connection is real, but the future isn't. Yung part na find someone who speaks your language. Ouch, pero totoo. I think that's also why ang hirap bitawan. Kahit alam natin deep down, the story won't end the way we want. Thank you for being honest and open. Sobrang nakagaan sa loob. Grabe. Charing. Walang grabe sa... walang grabe doon.
Parang inulit lang natin yung It's the same thought and it's the same language.
Same.
If you did find that person who speaks your language, swerte mo. it's really hard to find.
Yeah, someone
I don't know. Baka ko lang yun. Gusto ko
who
malakas eh.
jives with you.
True. Or at least someone who's willing to jive with you. Because there are people na you know na you speak the same language pero they're not willing to jive with you. Diba? Syempre, you go for those who's also willing to jive.
True. And who understands. So last story is coming from r/relationship advice 2 months ago. Title, After 10 years, we, female 36, male 36, tried to open the relationship. It was horrible. How do we recover? I think my boyfriend and me might have fucked up our 10-year relationship by trying to open it. Long post alert. He started dating someone else, but nothing except one kiss happened because he knew I wasn't comfortable with the situation yet. He was dating her, trying to keep her interested while we were at the same time working on me becoming comfortable with the situation. He has had 2 serious relationships before me. The second one lasted 3 years and was open. He is my first real relationship, and I'm way less experienced than he is, both in terms of relationships and sex. He explained to me that his plan was to sleep with her a couple of times and then slowly let it petter out. He said based on his past experiences that the third wheel usually loses interest quickly because they realize that they have the least amount of power in the arrangement. If she had not lost interest, he would have tried to turn the fling into a friendship if possible, or just respectfully break it off, especially so if he had suspected her developing any romantic feelings. This had been his MO in his earlier open relationship in his 20s. After about 6 dates in 2 months, he ended it with her because of how things were going with me. I don't know how to sum up what happened to me, but I just kept feeling worse and worse about the whole thing. I started crying every other day just while working at my desk or taking the train. I started resenting both of them. I started snapping at him, which is not a normal thing in our relationship at all. Basically, even though we had lots of talks, and in some ways I felt closer to him than ever because of all the communication we were having, I nevertheless felt like he was cheating, which basically is. Anyway, I know this is not fair to him. He was open about everything he was doing. He didn't sleep with her. He stopped dating her when I asked him to, although they met like 2 more times as friends after that because he did not want to make her feel bad. She is going through a bad divorce and really needed somebody to talk to. He did not want to leave her hanging or feeling used. Why did I even agree to try an open relationship, you may wonder? Well, for one, we never really decided that we were in an open relationship. There were offhand remarks by both of us over the years that this might be a possibility for us. That was all. But we never had a serious conversation about it. Then one day, he comes home after work and tells me that this woman has messaged him on Instagram and that he wants to meet her. And honestly, looking back, I now realize that he was asking. But back then, I didn't know what he was really asking. He said he couldn't tell whether she wanted to be friends or more. So I agreed that he could meet her because I didn't want to be a controlling partner. After the first meeting, he said that she definitely wanted more than a friendship. When he said that, I burst out crying. I cried for like an hour, couldn't talk or look at him. He tried to comfort me, but I really couldn't tolerate him touching me. That was the beginning. This next bit is insane. But after that, we agreed that he would meet her again, but that I didn't want to know anything about it because I obviously couldn't handle hearing about it. Does this sound insane? Yes, I know that now. Let me pause right here. How I understand myself now in hindsight, I am a people pleaser. I don't like saying no. I have pretty low self-esteem. I thought I could just pretend all this wasn't happening and wait until his little adventure would fizzle out. He had made it clear that he had no interest in a relationship with this person. There was no potential for anything beyond sex with this woman. I know looking back how stupid, unhealthy, and unkind to myself all of it all of this was. But when the person you love most in the world wants something, you want them to have it. And I also wanted to push through my discomfort and to work on making this work with him as a team. But as time went on, I felt alone and betrayed, like they were playing on the same team and I was all alone. The talks we had helped me make feel better and secure in our relationship again, but always after a few days I would feel like absolute shit about the whole thing again. He did nothing that wasn't allowed. He didn't sleep with her. They messaged, he spent several evenings at her apartment, didn't sleep with her, tapos nag-spend ng several evenings sa apartment.
I don't believe that's BS.
Diba? Anyway, getting to know her. He was honest with her about being in an open relationship. There was sexual tension, but he didn't act on it. Oh my God. At one point, he was hugging her at the end of a date and she kissed him. I guess she was getting impatient and thought he couldn't take a hint. The next day, he told me about the kiss and we decided that he should stop dating her because at that point, I was a mess. The thing is, I agreed to all of this, or at least I didn't disagree. I participated. I didn't draw a boundary because honestly, I didn't know it existed. But oh boy, it exists, and it was crossed, and I just hurt more and more every day. The whole thing ended about 4 months ago, but for the first 2 months after, I was still getting worse. Crying, sleeping terribly, losing my appetite, being irritable. We continued talking, spending time together, being us. A lot of this mess is my fault. I think my decision-making and behavior are deeply troubling. Did I mention this is my first relationship ever? I just wanted to try this to make him happy, to be cool, because monogamy is lame, right? And maybe I wanted to kiss someone else at some point. I was very naive. I suppressed a lot of feelings, it seems. I have very low self-worth, it seems. I probably depend way too much on my boyfriend and felt like I could not turn him down. I have realized that I feel ... dependent on him to an unhealthy degree that I think I won't find anybody else ever. All very unhealthy stuff that has come to the surface. Well, I love learning, but dear God, I really didn't want to learn about myself like this. Oh, anyway, here we are. They are Donzo. We are better. He says he has no problem being monogamous and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. This fling was just supposed to be fun. It is by no means something essential he needs in his life. We have been together for 10 years. He is my best friend. I love him. He is a very honest, trustworthy person for real. I participated in creating this whole mess of a situation. I am not great at feelings and communication, y'all. He is sorry he hurt me. He thinks he did nothing wrong. Oftentimes, I believe that too. And yet, and this is unfair, but I fucking hate him. Since his first date with that other woman, I wake up almost every morning and want to no longer be with him. I want to break his greedy little heart. I want to hurt him. I want revenge because he really loves me and it would hurt like a bitch. But I also want to break up because I just don't want to be with him anymore. Although I also want to be with him forever. I feel betrayed. Although he didn't betray me, I feel deeply disrespected. I feel ugly and unloved. I don't trust him like I used to, even if he was being honest the whole time. Talaga ba?
Girl, you shouldn't.
I used to trust him completely. I fucking hate him so much now. Some days. This will get better with time, but it will never be like it used to. I'm so mad at his selfishness, his vanity, his laziness. At some point during a conversation, he complained how exhausting this whole thing was, and I thought, tough titty, you started this, you wanted this, you brought a third person into this relationship, you fucking selfish asshole. Yeah, so before someone comments on it, stupid games, stupid process, and all that, to reiterate, I'm not good at this relationship stuff. There's so much more I could have written as for background info. I know there are gaps, but this is already an epic block of text. I don't know what to do. For one, I probably need therapy just in general because I was really not looking out for myself and I don't seem to like myself or think I deserve to be treated well. but like what now? There's just some resentment in me for all that has happened that is huge and heavy. Our relationship used to make me feel safe and proud. Now I feel trapped and humiliated. I guess I just need some feedback. I am too close to see anything clearly. So, actually, my extended version pa to, pero I'll go on it later. So, that's the story.
Girl, this guy is putting you in a position wherein he'd be allowed to have a third party with you, and you're allowing it. You shouldn't. And what you need to do is get out of there and end that relationship. I mean, obviously, you should.
10 years. 10 fucking years. Diba?
That's gonna be really hard to move on to because that's 10 fucking years. Pero girl, you need to get out of it. He's kind of in a way manipulated you into thinking that it's okay to put another person into the relationship.
True. He was saying there na wala daw nangyari sa kanila, but he's been going to the woman's apartment every single night.
BS, girl. It's BS. That's
Sobrang
not possible.
BS. It's not. Like,
no matter how
who are you kidding, diba?
Yeah.
Fucking
No
asshole.
matter how trusting you are with this guy, it's totally BS for him to not actually do something in the girl's apartment.
And the way
the other girl said na she wants something further than friendship. And why are you allowing it in the first place?
ito pa, kasi the way he narrated the story to her, it was like the other girl wants something more. Pero, he keeps going to her place. Diba? It was mentioned here, like, every night daw, like several nights or evenings.
Why are you so tanga?
Diba?
By now, we already learned that's not how the man's mind work. You cannot trust that he's not gonna do anything every day na nandun siya with the girl. Seriously. You actually believe na kiss lang ginawa nila. So naive.
Well, she said naman dito that it's her first relationship. 10 years, so that
10
means
years. You wasted a lot of time, girl.
they met nung 26 sila. Kasi they're all 36.
You still have some years with you. For you. And don't you effing waste it to this guy.
True.
It's manipulative. Jerk.
Sobrang manipulative niya. What's the purpose? Like, hindi ba kayo nagsisex? Like, di ba, hindi ko...
In the first place, bakit siya nagre-reply sa IG sa ibang girl? Then, he's on a relationship.
Eh,
And
kasi
he has
nga
the
they're
nerve to tell it
open.
to you. Diba?
Kasi nga they're in an open relationship.
No, he brought up the open relationship when he met that girl in IG. That's how I understood it. Kasi they didn't really have that conversation that they will be on open relationship. It just happened na kinuwento ni Guy na may na-meet siyang girl na ganito sa IG. And that went sort of became an open relationship. He basically asked the permission from the OP.
Yeah. Haba kasi nito eh. Saan ba yun banda? Anyways, yeah, I think so. Dun siya nag-start.
So that's why the OP hates his guts for putting her into that position.
Yeah, tama. Then one day he comes home after work and tells me that this woman has messaged him on Instagram and that he wants to meet her. Yeah. Pero it was mentioned din dito before that he had open relationships then before they met. So this is not his first rodeo.
Why did you started the relationship with him when you knew the fact that he is in an open relationship? Was he in an open relationship with you already at that time? That would be a good question.
Yeah, kasi parang hindi rin siya sure kung paano sila nag-start doon. So, like, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna read one comment and then I'm gonna proceed with the extended version. So he pushed through your tears throughout the whole process. What a prince. I can see why you hate him. Act on it. And then another comment replied there. OP cried and cried, and he went ahead with his plan to sleep with other women a few times and then let it peter out. He doesn't care or respect OP, the other woman, or women in general. Also, what was he messaging her that led to meet up even being a possibility? Who else was/is he messaging? Agree, time for OP to act on her feelings. And then another one commented on that too. Sabi, I was looking in the comments for someone to bring up him messaging the other woman before opening the relationship. He sounds like a cheater who was looking for a side piece and decided to go with an open relationship so he can claim he's nothing like his father, even though he is. He was putting things in motion long before he brought up opening the relationship. Up to OP. Yeah. So
I
anyway.
hate his guts. I don't even know him.
Oo, ewan ko ba may mga ganun talagang lalaki, nakakaloka.
And it's BS to say na he's not doing you any wrong. The fact that he is talking to another girl and had the guts to tell you is already wrong.
Yeah. And isn't it like being in an open relationship should be like, mutual, like a mutual decision. And the fact
Should
that
be.
you're, diba? And the fact that she's already, ewan ko ba tayo nag-English dito? And the fact that she's already feeling the way she did, dapat dun pa lang sa part na yun nag-stop na eh. Kasi, diba, if you really care about the other person you really love, your girlfriend, and you see that she's suffering by what you're doing, she's not even acting on it, being it as an open relationship, diba, dapat she's also like seeing other people.
Should be seeing other
Diba?
people.
But it seems like it's a one-way street na yung guy lang yung gumagawa nung ganon. And the fact that he sees that she's struggling about it, dun pa lang dapat he made the decision to just stop. Pero hindi parang
Exactly.
he continued, parang ang goal is to have her parang ma-desensitize.
Be okay with it, right?
Oo. Alright. So, extended version.
Okay.
Sabi dito, free of charge. First of all, he did not sleep with her. Oh my God. Ito talaga yung yung start ng message.
Don't believe that. That's BS.
Yeah. Although I know Reddit find this hard to believe, I am 100% certain of this. He might be downplaying some of their emotional intimacy, but nothing sexual happened. How the fuck did you
Do you know?
How the fuck do you know that, it didn't happen? Were you there? I know this because his father is a piece of shit. Oh.
So?
Who cheated on his mother for years and he found out when he was a teenager. He loves his mom more than anything. One of his main goals in life is that he never wants to be like his father. He could never sleep with another woman and lie about it. He wouldn't be able to live with himself. Although lately, I think he might be more like his father than either of us can stomach. This is the foundation of who he is. If he lies about that, I would have been living with an imposter for 10 years. Girl. Anyway,
He has been lying about that.
Pusin ko nga muna to before I explode.
Ano pakatanga?
Nakainis yung niya, no? Anyways, we'll get checked out for STDs, nevertheless, better safe and all that. We are engaged. Oh my God. He proposed to me a few months before all of this happened. Great, right? It took him so long because I have never been interested in marriage and only warmed up to the idea recently. I just don't like weddings and never thought it was necessary to put a ring on it. He would have gotten married years ago, but he accepted that I did not want it and waited. Ironic? Maybe. Yes, I will get therapy for me. Yes, deep down, I know that this relationship is doomed. Right now, I am only working part-time because I'm in graduate school and I am somewhat financially dependent on him, which I regret immensely. Also, the idea of moving is daunting. There are many things I resent him for. One thing is his incredible laziness. If you want an open relationship, you need to put serious work in beforehand. And since he was the one more eager on it, I expected him to take the lead on doing that work with me, especially since he had done this once before. But in one of our later talks, he said he thought I was going to do the research. At some point, what the fuck? Anong research?
What research? What are you talking about?
At some point, while he was already dating the said lady, he said, maybe we should get a book or something. The entitlement. I think in his previous open relationship, his girlfriend took the initiative and made him do all the emotional work. But that was because she wanted to open them up. During our conversation, I was quickly becoming the person more knowledgeable about how this was supposed to work because I had taken the time to Google for like half an hour. What the fuck? Anong
That's it?
related book? No, it's not. That's not it. Hindi pa ako tapos.
Okay.
Dami kong question. Anyway.
No, I mean, she spent half an hour. That's it.
Mhm.
It's not enough.
The other woman is interesting. At one point, I thought a lot about her. He was pretty honest with her in some regards, but also careful that she only knew what he needed her to know, I think. She definitely knows about me. She's concerned about me. I don't have contact with her, but he told me this and I believe him. She sounds like someone I would want to be friends with, to be honest. She consented that there would only ever be a fling, as he called it. The thing is, the ex she is divorcing is truly horrible, abusive, and my man must have seemed like a saint compared to that guy. I think more than a sexual relationship, she was relying on my man for emotional support, and he wanted to give that to her. And fuck her, of course. The way he talked about
Insane.
the way he talked about the other people in an open relationship really troubled me as well. It seemed pretty transactional and cold. The thing is, he really needs to be a good guy for his own self-worth. He told me this one story from before we were together. He slept with this girl and she was clearly falling in love, so they had a talk and stopped having sex. But afterwards, he would meet her for coffee for years so that she would not realize he had only used her for sex, even though she bored the shit out of him. He told me this story like it was a decent thing to do, but to me it seems messy and disingenuous. Of course, fucking people and ghosting them is also shitty, but surely there must be a middle ground. This all gives me the ick. Maybe people in the non-monogamous community can explain how they navigate that stuff. It is probably useful to know that my fiancé is very charismatic. People are drawn to him, especially if they have problems. He's very good at talking with people and does counseling for a living. This is kind of ironic because the communication in our relationship has been terrible, as it turns out. I am way more introvert and have less of a flashy personality than him, but I am deeply kind and loyal, also slightly odd and perhaps a little neurodivergent. Yes, I finally need to go to therapy, I know. What else? Thanks for reading and all your comments, even perhaps especially the snarky ones. I have never posted anything this honest and personal online. I read every single one of your comments. I will update. So yun, what the fuck was the notebook about? Listahan ng mga babae?
I think she was doing a research about open relationship. I thought that was what I understood.
Okay. So we should get a book or something. Okay. Research on an open relationship. There's a book for that? Na-curious tuloy ako.
Therapy, girl. Yes. Go for it. You badly need it. No wonder why they lasted 10 years if he is a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
No. But
True.
I am 100% sure he has, cheated in all other ways.
Oh
with
yeah,
her.
of course.
That's for sure.
Baka meron pa yung mga side girls or side
He might
hustles
just be
dyan na hindi
telling
mo
you that
alam.
one girl only, pero he might have other side pieces.
True.
And don't you defend that you don't
Nakakainis yung
know
sinasabi
a
niya
lot
na-
of other things he did in his life.
Yung sinasabi niya pala na he's being honest, I'm 100% sure. Like, were you there? Like, where the fuck were you? Were you the fly on the wall? Like, were you... Hindi ko magets eh.
You're there every second of his life and every day. For you to know that 100%.
Diba? Nakakaloko to si ate girl. Parang tangang-tanga siya dun sa...
You're way too trusting.
O kaya siya naluloko. Imagine, 10 years. Tapos, dito ko nabuisit dun sa, yung parang, yung sabi niya na, he really needs to be a good guy for his own self-worth. Yung parang, he slept with the girl, tapos, he kept going out for coffee para lang hindi daw ma-feel ni girl na ginamit lang siya.
Excuse me?
Diba? Hindi ko alam kung saan niya nakukuha yung kapal ng mukha niya. Diba? Nakakainis.
Well,
yung
dun yun naman sa tatay niya. He probably is telling her na he didn't want the same kind of relationship his parents had, but he's actually doing it. You've been manipulated to be okay to open relationships. It's your first relationship, and the fact that he made you be okay with that is manipulative.
Nakakainis tong story na to. Nakakainis kasi ang tanga-tanga niya.
Yes.
And nakakainis kasi yung lalaki parang nasa kanya na lahat ng oh my God. And then another one commented, parang nilalagay dito yung mga notes ni ate girl. I know this is not fair for him who are really broken, sabi nung commenter, because you have allowed yourself to be the victim and you feel sorry for him. And then, nirequote yung sinabi ni ate girl ulit. Well, for one, we never really decided that we were in an open relationship. So, he cheated. And then, exactly. People pleaser, aka doormat, sabi ng commenter. And then, I feel betrayed although he didn't betray me. He did. And then, it continues on, sabi, let me give you a dose of reality that you don't want to hear because you want to hang on to this terrible relationship. You're a woman. If you decided that you wanted to date right now and made a profile online, you would have hundreds of options, and he would have 5. Don't believe me, create an online profile where you want a no strings attached relationship and you start dating. I promise you, the moment you do that, you will have 100 of options. In the moment you take one, your partner will shut this down. You're very naive. You have no self-esteem, and that makes you the perfect victim. Exactly. That's really what you are. You're being taken advantage of in the worst way. That's why you're depressed, unhappy, insecure, and are still able to say that this is not fair for him. I wish I could reach out to you beyond the screen and take you straight to therapy and away from this man. If you continue accepting this in your life, it will be hard for you for the rest of your life. You will live to regret every single decision that you're making right now.
So, we know the history of the guy now. Pero there's a big possibility that this girl, given the fact she acts and thinks this way, she also probably came from a broken family. What do you think?
Oo.
Yeah.
May possibility na ganun yung upbringing niya. Kasi sabi niya, diba, that she's a people pleaser. She doesn't know how to say no.
I'm a people pleaser, but I know when to say no to that situation.
Yeah, well, I guess there are levels to it. Sabi dito nung may nag-comment pa, I've seen this with many of my friends in open relationships as well. Openly established open relationships, by the way. It's all fun and chill until the woman decides she wants to date someone. Then, what a surprise, her primary boyfriend somehow never likes any of her options. And then someone commented on that. My ex wanted an open relationship right up until the point I started talking about being excited to go out with people and get to know them. Funny how that works, huh? Actually, this made me remember yung one Reddit story from a different YouTube channel. So, nangyari is, I think it was a guy. Sabi niya parang naboboard na siya dun sa asawa niya. I think they're married. Or something. So, they opened the relationship. And then, when they opened the relationship, because he was attracted yata to this co-worker of his. So, he opened the relationship. So, he made advances to that co-worker. And then, of course, yung asawa niya, she also dated other people. And then, it turns out that she had more dates than him. And even that coworker parang declined, parang hindi siya pinursue. So he was left like 0 dates. So now he's trying to close the relationship. Si ate girl na yung ayaw. Nakakatawa lang how that turns out. Another comment. Jesus Christ, none of this sounds healthy. He's hoping to exploit power dynamics in non-monogamy. That's not ethical. He wants to fuck some girls and go back to his cozy, cushy life as if nothing happened. For what it's worth, you were coerced into non-monogamy with the threat of separation if you didn't agree. He didn't give you time to consider or think out what you want, and he used your relationship as a tool to get what he wants. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. He also didn't try to go about this in a way that would be healthy for everyone involved, and that makes him a selfish asshole. Stand up for what you want in relationships. Set your foot down. realize that you are monogamous and not interested in pursuing non-monogamy, then make that your boundary. When someone crosses your boundaries, you leave. That's your power. 10 years is nothing if you don't feel loved, respected, or cared for.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear in the story though that he threatened separation if she did.
Actually, parang hindi ko rin yung narinig. Hindi ko narinig sa sarili ko. Ako yung nagbasa.
Hindi kasi narinig na sa sinabi mo.
Somebody commented on that. Sabi, exactly. OP, you keep repeating he didn't sleep with her as if it mattered to convince yourself that the trust wasn't already broken. He should have stopped all of this once you started crying and be miserable because of his appetite for other sexual relations. Well, he manipulated you first by taking advantage of you, your inexperience, your trust, your silence, your silent boundaries, probably the fact you seem to put him on pedestals. He knew you're a people pleaser. He knew you would not stop the relationship if he slightly communicated his desires for other women. He knew you wouldn't stand your ground. He was okay with you not sleeping and being miserable until then. He manipulated her as well, and I feel so sorry for her. Let's recall he had a fucking crazy psycho planned game to pursue her, date her, sleep with her a few times, and slowly get rid of her once he got what he wanted, sex. You endorse the whole responsibility even if you are a victim. I'm sure and I hope the rest of the Reddit community will highlight you how much you're wrong and how much you should love yourself enough to not stay with someone taking benefits of your innocence and of another woman for his own sexual benefits and self-validation. Diba? Kasi yun talaga yung plano niya is to fuck her a few times and slowly get rid of her.
Right,
diba?
after that he got what he wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, and he communicated that with the girlfriend.
Because he wants a legal path. Wants you to be okay with that. Just think of it na, pag tumanda ka, are you gonna keep allowing that bastard to keep putting you in a position na you'd be okay to be in a relationship or to be in with him doing other cheating things in front of you hanggang tumanda kayo?
Sabi pa dito, nonsense. He didn't sleep with her at her place in the evenings, only one kiss. You buy that story? He lied. 100% they were fucking. If you don't want to be with him any longer, then break up already. And then someone commented pa dyan, one kiss at her place and all alone with her in the evenings. I don't buy it. They were having sex. Tapos someone said, it's how he so easily was able to let her go and say how he only wants to be with OP now and doesn't need this other relationship to be happy. But only at that point. Not because of how it was affecting his girlfriend of 10 years, making her stress and cry every day. Cough, cough, after he slept with her. Cough, cough, sabi. Well, he got what he wanted. I'm pretty sure they had sex every single time he was there. So, since nakuha na niya yung gusto niya, ayaw na niya.
Madaling iwan yun.
Diba?
She served her purpose.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
And she pretty much said what his purpose also is on her, right?
Which is so cruel. Imagine your boyfriend telling that to you. Even if it's an open relationship, ganun yung sinabi niyang plan. Oh, this is my plan with this girl. Blah, blah, blah. And you would feel like you're fucking special kasi ikaw yung girlfriend. Diba? Nakakaloka.
No, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Nakakainit ng dugo yung
May comment dito. So I've been in the lifestyle for the past 10 years. Some years are more active than others, but my husband and I are still in a very loving and stable relationship. This is something I learned at a sex-positive event a few years ago. Anytime a change of consent to do more is initiated, it must be done in an emotionally stable environment. No tears, not drunk, not high, and not horny enough you'd agree to anything. You can always revoke consent, but you cannot give consent while in an emotionally charged situation. Your husband intentionally put you into emotionally charged situations to manipulate you into giving him the answer he wanted. When you were crying your eyes out, you were afraid he would leave you if you just said no. You were coerced into approving his cheating. Anyone in the lifestyle will tell you that this is cheating with extra steps. Your husband didn't
Exactly.
want his AP to feel used, but he was happy enough to use and manipulate you. What you do with your relationship is your choice, but consent under duress is not consent. You didn't consent to being in the lifestyle, you were coerced. True.
Exactly what I said.
Correct.
It should not be okay. In the first place, actually, you shouldn't want okay with that situation. And that's it for our Reddit stories today.
If you enjoyed hanging out with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss the next round of Reddit stories. Got your own story? Drop it in the comments and send it to us. We might just read that on our next episode. Until next time,
Stay warm, stay tropical, and as always, bye, friend.
bye, friend.